back, folks. Bear Clan's Hiking Sedona podcast, dealing in episode 10 today. I'm going to actually share a little bit of the microphone time with some folks. I'm actually going to be doing interviews with other hikers of Sedona, whether they've been here for a while, whether they've hiked here only once, or if they live here. But ultimately, it's going to give you a different perspective on the same things that I'm trying to explain to you. Today on the microphone, I'm going to be having Carter Dean. Carter, go ahead and say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood, as we'll call it, at the beginning of the new year. So, Carter, what I'd like to do is, if you could kind of give everybody an idea of who you are, just give us a rundown. Where do you live? How old you are? What do you do for a living? That sort of stuff.
Okay, I'm Carter Dean. I live in Connecticut. I'm currently employed at the YMCA. I got training for manufacturing. I am 18. I'm a high school graduate.
Nice. So here's a question for you. How old were you when you actually first got to see Sedona? Because I don't know, I guess I didn't preempt everybody. Carter's been here before. So just give everyone an idea as to how old you were when you first came out.
Yeah, I believe it was my 8th grade summer, and I was about 14 years old.
So it was pretty different for you? I mean, what ran through your mind when you first saw Sedona? What was kind of the essence of your emotions when you saw the rocks of Sedona?
Well, I remember we were in a car ride, my first time. We were in the car ride from the airport, and I just remember the switch from, you can see the cacti from Phoenix. You can see them just all of a sudden, they just start disappearing as you get to the elevation. Yep. And then you start seeing all the red rocks. Really cool experience. It was beautiful. I loved the color scheme of Sedona.
Right. So when you first saw it, how did you feel about those rocks? I mean, how unique is that for what you've experienced in life, this environment that's here?
Yeah, well, it's very different because obviously, that's nothing like the rocks or any of the area around us. I thought that the rocks were crazy different compared to where I am. I've never seen that before in person.
Right.
And the idea that all of Sedona was underwater at one point and was just like sea life, I love that idea. Just trying to picture all of it underwater.
Yeah, knowing that you were actually like a half a mile underwater when you were walking around on the ground out here is pretty impressive. Kind of an interesting thing to take, especially when what you've learned in your schooling life. You've heard about dinosaurs and you've heard about geological shifts and everything. It's like you're in the middle of it, dude. From where you're from, the Northeast, there's not a lot of this similar looking. Obviously everything was underwater, but yeah, there's something different about Sedona. That's cool. So what kind of hiking did you end up doing when you were here?
At the time, it was hardcore for me. I'm not crazy physical, but yeah, there's some really hardcore hiking. We did some bushwhacking, but then there's also a lot of very simple, fun trails that we got to go on.
Right.
You just get to look at all the views and everything. It was really nice.
Kind of blew your mind a little bit. Every corner you took, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And did you feel like you were always safe when you were hiking here?
Well, as safe as you could feel whenever you're at some of the insane heights, but as long as you follow the trails and everything, you'll be fine. There's no problem. I never was worried about any of that. I just was mainly taken away just by the views that I would see when I was up on the rock. Yeah.
Would you be confident enough if you showed back up into Sedona that you say, you know what, I know the conditions, or I don't even know all the conditions, but do you believe that you'd be safe, or would you be able to hike this place on your own if you came back by yourself?
I would like to think so. I'd probably have to refresh my memory with some of the trails, but I remember a lot of the trails of the one that I went on multiple times.
And how'd you like the difference in terrain? I mean, because sometimes it was like you're hiking in grass fields, sometimes on a beach, and then massive rocks and climbing and everything.
I always loved being on the rocks more than just a simple walking part, because typically most of the hikes do was just the flat areas, and then I would lead up to the big rocks that you get to climb and jump over and jump from, and that was mainly what I would look forward to as I was walking up to them.
Right. I mean, this is a question everybody asks me, and it's probably the hardest question to ever answer. Do you have a favorite hike that you had while you've been here?
Most memorable, I don't know. I would say maybe Bell Rock was a good one. Yeah. Or that was the first one that I went on.
Yep.
And that was really fun. Right. It seemed like a giant playground, I guess. It wasn't super difficult. It was pretty simple, and there was just a bunch of different places you could go. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But then still really liked Wilson as well.
Yeah.
Just being at that and seeing that view was insane. I know I have that picture that you took of me on the ledge, and it was just, oh, I love that.
Isn't that ridiculous? It's almost like you can't believe that you're actually standing on the edge of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Now, here's another question. Do you think Sedona is kind of an appealing place for kids?
Do you mean kids like, or do you mean like people closer to my age, or do you mean like kids like from 5 and up?
Well, like, yeah, probably 5 and up. I mean, you can separate it into age groups if you want, but just what's your thought about that?
I mean, I know when I was younger, I would have definitely loved coming to Sedona. I mean, well, that was me because I was outdoors a lot, and I always loved going, or you always brought me on hikes and stuff. Whenever we go to Vermont or even hikes wherever we could find them. So I would have loved it just being on just a giant playground, I guess. But yeah, I think it also depends on the person as well. But I think it would also be appealing to many of the kids. So, but you'd have to go to more of the simpler areas. Yeah, no, I'd say just like a simpler area, I guess.
Do you think they'd need to be loving the outdoors to enjoy Sedona? Or do you think there's enough that's here that they don't have to necessarily be avid hikers, walkers, or anything like that?
I don't think they need to have like a need for the outdoors, but I think it would definitely help like a lot. Like if you love the outdoors, you should definitely go there.
Right.
But like even if you don't, I feel like if you were to visit Sedona and you were just to look, like you couldn't not enjoy just taking a walk outside. Like you can't not.
Right. Just the pure views of just about everywhere you stand is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So a lot of people talk about this Sedona magic and this energy that's here. There's a lot of different definitions of it. I'm going to be doing a podcast purely about it. We're calling it the vortex energy. It's kind of a mystical, metaphysical thing. Did you, by any chance, get any experience with that? Was it something that you yourself felt, or did you get to see somebody else experience anything like that?
I do remember, so I didn't get that much, or I didn't get as much as a lot of people typically get, but I did feel a little bit. I remember doing a medicine wheel when I was there, and I did feel a little bit of that vortex energy, but well, definitely with you, and there's plenty of other people that have gotten just the energy that there just affects them a lot,
right,
or very strongly.
Right. Have you ever done any spiritual work on yourself, whether it was metaphysical or God or Native American or any type of any spirituality?
Recently, no. I mean, I've attempted meditation, like that kind of stuff, I guess. I mean, I know when I was younger, I used to go to church, but when I was like a child, mainly just because my parents would go, and then I would go with them because they were going to church, and I would just be there.
Right.
But then I also remember me and John would just dance around I forgot what it was called.
The ceremony garb?
Yeah.
The Native American stuff, right? Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad you remember some of that. So what would you end up telling someone if you heard someone where you're living at now saying, you know what, I'm thinking of going to Sedona? How would you explain it to them, or what would you tell them?
I would tell them if they're going there, they should go on some kind of hike or somewhere to get a view of the area, or even going to, what was that airport called, the place to look off?
The airport Mesa, yeah.
Yeah, or just somewhere to get a nice view, at least one time when they're there, just to take it all in.
Right.
But that I would recommend them going on hikes, of course, or taking tours around the whole area.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say that. And if they were to take hikes, maybe, depending on what place it is, they might want to get a tour guide or something.
Right.
Some of the paths can be, I don't know, you might want to have someone there to guide you at least.
Right. Next question. When's your next trip to Sedona?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope sometime soon, or as soon as possible. Looking back at all of this stuff, like, it makes me just want to come back sooner now, because I really missed it like a lot now.
Yeah, it can do that.
Yeah, I need to find a time that'll come up. That'll be really good for me, and I'll look forward into this sometime this summer. I might be able to. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, now that you're graduated from school and everything, you don't have to wait for summertime to be doing summer vacation.
That's true.
You can go whenever you want. It's like you choose a fall, you can choose spring, you can choose late spring. Yeah, so it does give you a little bit more options and flexibility.
Yeah.
All right, so last question. Do you have any last words? Is there anything else you'd like to tell the public that's going to be listening to this about Sedona, about your experience, about the kind of hiking that's here, anything?
Well, to any of the listeners, I would strongly recommend visiting Sedona. There's so many things that you can do there. I miss it like crazy, and I can't wait to go back and get to explore new areas that I haven't before, or even go back to some of the places that I've been and just get to experience some of that again.
Maybe reminisce in some of those spots that brought you here the first time, right?
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
Excellent. All right, Carter, we thank you very much. We'll probably hear from you again sometime in the future. And maybe when you come to visit Sedona, we'll be doing a podcast face-to-face. That'd be even better.
That would be. I would love that.
All right, young man. Well, thank you very much. Take care of yourself, and we'll keep our ears out for you.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. Can't wait to see you guys again.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you very much, Carter, and peace, love, and joy to you, man.